يا جموع الحق ثوري يا جموع
إذا سألت فاسأل الله وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله واعلم.
Hi everyone, this is Penn State Dad here. And in a minute I'm going to get to the subject of Kevin Barrett and his disgusting course on Islam that he's teaching at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. You know, up there in Madison, Wisconsin, where all they do is commune with Satan. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But before I do, I want to give you a little bit of background here. I'm Penn State Dad. Well, what does that mean? It means I've got a kid at Penn State. And every semester I pay a tremendous amount of money, the technical term is a shitload, to see to it that he can get a good education, get a job in engineering, and work as a contractor for the Defense Department. Maybe he'll be lucky enough to help create the kinds of weaponry that are needed to bring democracy to Tehran, or to Syria, or who knows where else in the Middle East, maybe even Saudi Arabia. Well, if I'm going to pay all that money, and I'm kind of resenting having to pay that much money, at least I know that my kid is really learning math and science. But I bet those parents or those kids communing with Satan up there in Madison, Wisconsin, I'm sure many of them are going, why are we shelling out all this money? Especially when they hear about Kevin Barrett and the things he's doing. Okay? I saw O'Reilly on the news with a couple of Kevin Barrett students, and I thought I'd look into the matter. And the fact is, O'Reilly is right. First of all, I dug up Kevin Barrett's syllabus here, and I've got quite a few things to say about it. Now sure, on the one hand, he tries to cover up what he's doing by having the Clash of Civilizations be required reading. That's an article that appeared about 12, 13, 14 years ago by Samuel Huntington. It's an article that some people believe actually led ultimately to getting rid of all the good Arabists in the State Department. And if that's the case, it's all to his credit. But even this article is not far enough on the mark. Okay? What's wrong with this article is that it says civilizations. There aren't civilizations. There's no clash between Western civilization on the one hand and Eastern civilization on the other. There's only Western civilization. Right? There is no clash of civilizations. This is just a natural progression. So even using this article, you can see that Kevin Barrett has something up his sleeve. And I want to go on a little more. Let's look at some of the other books. Never mind what O'Reilly was talking about. Okay? Let's look at the important stuff. Okay? Look at some of the things that are on here. First of all, he's got a book by William Chittick and Saichiko Murata. Okay? Now, William Chittick has a PhD from Tehran in Persian literature. Now, why the hell would you get a PhD in Persian literature from Iran when you can do it right here in the United States? We have places here in the United States you can do that. Why would you go there? Furthermore, and this is going to come up again and again, he's an expert in Sufism and Shiism. Okay? What are we doing with experts in Sufism and Shiism, their books being used in our colleges and universities? Then there's another book by Michael Sells called Approaching the Quran. Well, that book, first of all, tries to get people to appreciate the linguistic and spiritual values of the Quran. Karen Armstrong, and that should tell you something right there, says that this Michael Sells has performed an invaluable service in making the beauty, spiritual energy, and compelling power of the Quran accessible to a Western audience for the first time. How dare he do such a thing? This is the CD that comes with his book. Okay? I was playing it the other night, and I couldn't believe it, because the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. So I had to take it out of my stereo system, and I'm just using it as a prop for this. Do not get that book. By the way, Michael Sells, I'm pretty sure, is a Sufi. Okay? That's two Sufis in a row. These people are Sufio-fascists. We cannot have them influencing our children. But it gets worse. Okay? Another book that he has is by Fred Denny, An Introduction to Islam. Here it is, folks. Fred Denny. Fred Denny is well known as an Arabist, as an expert in Arabic language and in comparative religion. He taught for many, many years, and most of his students love the guy. He tried to write a fair and balanced book. What is Kevin Barrett trying to do to our children? Right? At least Fred Denny's not a Sufi as far as I know, but he wrote 2 chapters in this book are on Sufism. Okay? Starting to see the trend here? Then the last thing, the thing that really has me upset, he has them read the autobiography of Malcolm X. Malcolm X is black! What is he doing? What is with this crazy, insane nut? He is assigning books by recognized experts on Islam, and then a book by one of the most famous African Americans to convert not just to the Nation of Islam, but to traditional Sunni Islam. Okay? Oh, and by the way, another thing about William Chittick that I want to point out that really shows you what he's really up to, this guy is an expert in Shiism. But where does he teach? He teaches at the State University of New York, which is called Sunni. What is with him? Okay? There's a message in there, and I'm sure that Bill O'Reilly will help me find it. Now, going back to Malcolm X, I just wanted to point out, if you're going to have a black person write about Islam, you should have someone like Alan Keyes, not someone who's actually studied Islam and made the Hajj and written eloquently about it. In fact, what really upsets me about all of these books, every single one of the books that are on his list, except for The Clash of Civilizations, is not one of these books insults the religion of Islam. Every one of these books tries to look at it in a fair and balanced way. That's ridiculous. More on that in my next broadcast.